Search ye far, or search ye near, you'll find no trace of the three, unless you follow instructions clear, for the weapons abide with me. North past forest, farm and furrow you must go to the feathered mound, then down away from the sun you'll burrow. Forget life, forget light, forget sound. To rescue wave you must do battle with the beast in the boiling bubble. Crossed cavern vast, where chain links rattle, lies Whelm, past water spouts double. Blackrazor yet remains to be won underneath inverted ziggurat. That garnered, think not that you're done, for now you'll find that you are caught. I care not, former owners brave, what heroes you seek to hire. The mighty, I'll make each one my slave, or send him to the fire. Hello all, it's John, the old geek once again, and it's review time. I've mentioned this module in a few earlier reviews, so those of you who have been following my videos might have a good idea of my opinion on this one already. It's S2, White Plume Mountain. First published with a monochrome cover in 1979, White Plume Mountain has seen numerous reprints over the years. It was reissued in 1981 with a full colour cover by Jeff D. Then again in the S1-4 compilation published in 1987. It was again reissued in 1999 to celebrate 25 years of D&D, along with a sequel, Return to White Plume Mountain. We also have a version converted to 3.5 and most recently a conversion to 5th edition's Tales from the Yawning Portal. So it's fair to say many gamers will have had the opportunity to run or play this one at some time. So no need for me to review it then. Just kidding. S2 was written by Lawrence Schick, to say his surname carefully. So the story goes he wanted a job at TSR and put together a manuscript with a dungeon containing all his best bits from things that he had written. Much to his surprise, TSR decided to publish it all unchanged in the form of this module, and Lawrence got hired as a member of the team. For presentation I will be concentrating on the 1981 version. It's the most widespread and it was one I bought in the 80s. It featured colourful cover art from Jeff D in his typical style. I'm not a big fan of the front cover. Yes, it's full of action, but it's too comic book for my liking. Even though the back cover is in a similar style, I do like it better than the front. It's a slim 16-page booklet with rather a lot of pages devoted to content other than the adventure locations themselves. There's a handout, there's two handouts, there's quite a lot of artwork. While some of the artwork is pretty effective, it does leave the adventure itself to be rather short. Just 27 encounter areas. There's no box text for the encounter areas, but the descriptions are straightforward enough, with key info bolded and adequate monster stats, which is a relief after most of the earlier modules only listed their hit points. Much of the art was added for this version, as the 1979 printing only had 12 pages. I don't know what the art was like in that 1979 edition, I haven't got it. The map is adequate. It's easy enough to use, but not as bold or as clear as those of some of the earliest modules, specifically the Giants ones. It does also feels a little bit sparse, but that's due to the fact that there are so few encounter areas in this module and so few on the map. The plot of this one is a little notorious, mainly for the fact that it barely exists. 3 valuable and potent weapons have been stolen and the party need to get them back. And luckily they each received a copy of the poem I read at the start. It appears to be from a wizard called Caraptis, who is believed to be long dead. So the party know exactly where to look. His former home, the feathered mound in the poem, White Plume Mountain. As with a lot of adventures from this age, the module begins at the mountain itself, hand-waving away any travel that may have been necessary. There are a few suggestions as to what the DM might do regarding a possible local village. It does suggest using a few random encounters, but nothing beyond that and nothing really remotely useful. So it's just a slim booklet with minimal background info, no real plot, a mediocre map, and a serious shortage of encounters. Yeah. But what it does have sets the high watermark for modules of its genre. It's a funhouse, a selection of imaginative puzzles and situations, combat with interesting creatures and individuals in challenging environments. As a whole, they don't make any real sense. They don't try to. As I said earlier, Lawrence Schick simply collected all of his best bits together and sent them to TSR, and they published it like that. Normally, in any adventure, you'll get one or two highly memorable set pieces. In White Plume Mountain, that's the whole module. All the encounters are like that. The crab in the bubble, the inverted ziggurat, the glass globes, the platforms over lava, the stream in midair, the slippery cylinder. The entire adventure is a roller coaster of imaginative setups designed to test the resourcefulness of the players. Yep, test the players, not the characters, as it should be. It is a little linear. You've got to do the whole dungeon to get all 3 weapons. But when the encounters are this much fun, who cares? The players will be fully engaged in the module's environment and will forget about the lack of NPC interaction or story. So, those weapons. People like to look for things to moan about. And I've seen some people chuntering about how powerful they are, and how Blackrazor in particular is a rip-off of Stormbringer and potentially game-breaking. So what? The party aren't meant to keep the weapons. They are going in there to retrieve them for someone else. Thus they have to give them back. What if they choose not to? Don't make that an option. Grow a pair. You're the DM. You have ways of making them give up the weapons. I had my party meet Bigby, and he was the one asking them to go to the mountain to get the 3 weapons. I also used him to help set up S4, where he sent them to retrieve the lanthorn. I made up some nonsense about him being busy with council work with his extremely powerful wizardy mates, so the players were in no doubt as to potential consequences that they would have to deal with if they failed to keep their part of the bargain. The quality of the encounters in S2 is such that they will work well with almost any edition of D&D in terms of mechanics. Okay, the mindsets of players in newer editions might be at odds with the module's style, but that's the fault of the players themselves. The conversion in 5th edition's Tales from the Yawning Portal is certainly one of the better adaptations in that book, and that's down to the design of the original material. One relevant criticism of White Plume Mountain is the total absence of Caraptis himself, and that is a shame, seeing as the premise for going there in the first place is that he is supposed to have stolen the weapons. As the module is short, would it really have been too hard to write a section including him and adding that to the 1981 version? After all, they managed to add a lot of extra artwork. Not that I'm complaining about the art, not at all. One of the most iconic pieces of art in S2 is this incredible piece by Erolotus. It's so tantalising. I wonder how many DMs ended up creating the lair of Dragotha, the undead dragon, simply because of this image. Or maybe a cackling witch called Thin Gizzard with her potions. It's brilliant. White Plume Mountain is one of those adventures that sets out to do one specific thing, much like Tomb of Horrors in that respect. And it achieves that aim. It is the ultimate funhouse. It doesn't try to be anything else. It came out during AD&D's golden age, and it's arguably one of the products that best typifies that age. One of wonder and imagination and new experiences. When I ran the best module poll, check out the 3 videos I did on that, S2 came second out of 95 modules. It was narrowly beaten by S4. While that result was a surprise, I knew it would do well, but maybe not that well. In hindsight, I can see why, as like S4, it is so hard to dislike this module, unless you are one of those hardcore improv theatre roleplay types you get nowadays. It gets a rating of 9 out of 10 from me, losing a solitary point because it's too short. I'd have loved for it to contain more, and the fact that it pulls that dodgy trick of no Caraptis. I can't forgive it for that. Well, that's been another review from me, the Old Geek. Yes, it's the Old Geek, because that ye bit, that y, is an old way of writing th. I do hope you enjoyed it, and thanks again to everyone who joined me on my first stream last night to celebrate 400 subs. I may have to do another one when we reach 450, if we get there. Good night.